What's going on, guys? Welcome to my channel, and today we are going to be going over 10 Piggy tips to win every single time. Now these tips are going to work for Piggy and player, so let's get straight into it. Number 1 is actually for players, and it's pretty simple. Close doors behind you. Obviously in maps there's a lot of doors, not in this one, but you know what I mean. There's a lot of doors in maps. And it's very simple. Just close the doors behind you. Now, this is going to do one of two things. It's either going, if Piggy's chasing you, it'll actually get Piggy stuck. And also, if there's another player and you shut the door, you'll actually sometimes get them stuck. So, if Piggy's chasing you and it comes between you and another player, you get them stuck, and then they're gonna be in the map. They're gonna be right in front of Piggy. The next one is abilities to use and avoid. Now, obviously, there's a lot of abilities, but some of them that you don't want to use are the team abilities. Now, the team abilities can work in certain cases, but most of the time you don't want them. Now, the team magnifying glass is alright, but the one you really want to avoid is the team energy boost. Because if there are players dead, your energy will not be shared because, as you know, it's 10 energy to use, and there's splits between all the players in the map, gives them 2 energy. But if there's players dead, they'll actually be losing energy, so it's not a very good one to use. The good ones to use are sprint, because you can get away from Piggy. I think camo is a pretty good one, as it will stop all bots. Bots will not be able to know where you are. So if you're playing swarm mode, then this is pretty good. Decoy I find really good as well, as you can, if Piggy's chasing you, send out a decoy. Decoys are pretty easy to tell, but you can actually fake being a decoy, and it's actually really fun. But yeah, and also if Piggy's chasing you, you send out a decoy. If their hitbox is big enough, or the decoy runs into them, and they'll kill the decoy and you'll get some time. Alright, third tip is jumping traps. Now, I got Piggy right here. And Piggy, let me back up. Piggy's gonna put a trap. No. Alright, there we go. See, so you can't jump these traps. These is different tip. But these traps you can jump pretty easily. Yeah, so if there's a trap in a doorway, this one you can't jump. You gotta shimmy over to the side, which is pretty hard. But if you put like that, get Piggy backed up, you can just jump it. It's pretty easy. You can just jump all over them. You jump it, you can get the key, which is not. It's pretty easy to jump on. Now the final tip is play in third person. Now, obviously, there's 2 modes, third and first. Now, first person is pretty good for, like, doors. If you want to close doors or grab items, it's pretty good. But always try to play in third person unless you are playing Swarm or 10 bots. Swarm, you probably want to stay in first person, just so you can run around, close the doors, use the items, grab them, and mainly close doors. 10 bots as well. But otherwise, you're going to want to play in third person so you can see if the Piggy is around. Alright, that's all for survivor tips. Let's go over to Piggy. Alright, so the first Piggy tip is actually traps, to do with the traps. Now, obviously, there are a lot of different traps in Piggy. You got, like, the black hole, snow Piggy, default alarm. But some of those traps aren't very good to use. Now I have my alt right here. So let's just go pop down this. So this is a teleporting chamber. I think you all know this. This is the unlockable in the new quest. So this trap, I think, is pretty good. It wasn't as good until the new energy bar, where you can have multiple traps, as players can't interact with it. This is a trap that you put down and you can teleport around the map. So I think this trap's good now. I obviously unlocked the chamber, the teleported chamber, but I have the teleporter trap, I just don't use it. The next trap I think is pretty good is the black hole trap. Now, I don't have enough energy, but when I put it down, it's pretty good. Now, I put it down, and as you can see, he got sucked into it. That's because these traps suck players in from a certain radius. So obviously, if it doesn't really work too well now, but if it's in a doorway and you put it down, the players cannot get through it, especially if you jump trap it. I'll get to that in a second. But these traps are very OP. Actually, before the energy bar, there was the trap that I used. Another trap that's pretty good is the crawling trap. It's pretty understandable. It's to stop vent campers. You can just place it down and you'll go get a player. They're very good. They were buggy when they first came out, but Miniton fixed them. But these traps, you gotta use them. You gotta unlock them. You gotta use them. They make vent camping. Can't vent camp anymore, basically, if you have them. So I think these 3 traps are pretty good. Some other traps that are good are alarm traps, default traps, snow piggy, inflatable. I think those traps are very good. Some traps that you don't want to use are the slow trap, the egg trap, and the tombstone trap. Now the tombstone trap's alright, but it costs 10 energy, and Piggy's an old, he's grandpa basically. He's old, can't move. Alright, let's get on to the next tip. Now, the next tip is actually maps to play and avoid. Now, there's a lot of maps in Piggy. Maps that you don't want to really play as Piggy are the forest map, the mall map, school map, carnival, and metro and plant a little bit. The problem is with the first 4 maps, they are giant squares. And the problem with you have a giant square is it's got 4 long hallways, and players can just run around and avoid the Piggy. Now, Metro, the problem with Metro is it's got that long underground tunnel, but it does have a lot of doors, so you can shut the doors in players' faces. And Plant, again, it's got that big orange room and the big center room. But the green room, and when you blow up the thing, it makes it very hard. Next tip is actually jumping trap. Now you saw this earlier. Let me just move away. But I can actually jump trap. If I jump, press a trap, you can see it's actually floating. Now what that does is instead of being able to jump a trap, if you get somebody, they can't jump it. And I can just walk up to them and move them. It's that easy. Next tip is actually to do with a skin. Now, you might have saw this on Creekcraft's video. He did a video on this a little bit ago. It's actually one of the skins, Hitbox, is a little bit OP. And it's actually Archie. Always play with Archie. I was playing with Antio over there, just because I unlocked it, and I was testing it out earlier. But Archie is very OP as his hitbox is pretty big. So I'll show this to you here. So let me just equip Piggy and I'll show you this. Alright, so I got Pit Cows right here. He's basically in the middle of that vent, and I'm just going to slowly inch forward. Now my bat is literally in his hand, my snout is in his hair, I'm sniffing it. Oh, Pit Cows, why didn't you shower? Told you to. But it's not triggering it. And now it triggers it. I was basically inside of him, and it finally triggered. Let me show you that with a different skin. Alright, so we're here again. We got him basically the same spot, and I'm playing Kraken skin. This is the biggest skin in the game. I'm just gonna slowly inch forward. And my tentacles are inside of him. They can strangle him. My head was inside of his, and it wasn't triggering it. So let's show you Archie's hitbox. Alright, so we're in as Archie, and let's do the same thing. We're just gonna slowly inch forward. As you can see, It did it a lot earlier. Let me show you that one more time. Alright, let me show you this one more time. So we're in about the same position. Got pig cows right there. I'm just going to slowly inch forward. Now, right now, it should not be happening, but when I see the animation triggers. Now what's going on here is that Archie has a very big hitbox. But this video isn't about Archie and how he's broken. This video is about 10 piggy tips. Let's get into the last tip. Alright, so the final tip here is actually pretty simple. Knowing what players to kill and what players not to kill. Now obviously, the max server is 6. So if you're playing player, you're going to have 5 players. About 5 here. Now, knowing what players to kill is very important. Because obviously, you want to try to eliminate the good players. The players that know what they're doing, that are unlocking all this stuff. You want to try to go for them first. Then, probably you don't have to worry about the people who don't know what they're doing. They're just kind of running around like headless chickens, whatever. And then finally, the AFK players. Now right now, Pick Cows, he is an AFK player. Again with Archie's hitbox. But I would not try to kill him at the beginning. Go for the good players. Simple. Alright, that's all for the video. Make sure to subscribe and like and do all that stuff. And tell me in the comments what video you want to see next. Alright, bye. So right now, as you can see, the piggy's camping. And we don't approve of the piggy camping. So obviously Robbie needs gas, to beat up Piggy. So let's go get some gas.